AMF Magic Score Open, the Cleveland Open, and then we go down to the third of the Triple Crown. It'll be in Toledo, Ohio for the PBA National Championship. Then on to the second Miller Tournament of the year, the Miller High Life Open in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And here in our second match, third match will meet Mark Roth. Anthony in the second match bowled a 254 with 10 strikes. Moser shot a 191. So we have a replay of what happened at the Showboat Invitational. Roth and Anthony coming up. Let's look at the top 10 money winners, Bo. Some awesome figures.
Holman off to a sensational start. Did not cash in this tournament this week. 42nd spot went to the great Dick Weber, our host. He won a $1,030. As you can see, Schlegel, he was close again this week. Jay Robinson up there, our tournament leader this week. Tom Baker steady. George Pappas, the new PBA president, and Richard Martinez, who we saw in the Quaker State Open, round out the top 10 after 5 weeks.
And there he is, Hall of Famer Dick Weber, co-owner the Dick Weber Lanes here in Florissant, Missouri. Doesn't he look great? That red carnation, and the red tie, Valentine's Day present.
26 PBA titles, won $1,030 this week, and his son Pete, who is the Rookie of the Year, picked up a $299 game, high game of the week.
Third match, a dream match. Earl Anthony, who had 10 strikes, shooting 254, now going against Mark Roth. Anthony, who finished with 8 in a row, adds another.
Definitely has his groove, but these two guys have played against each other so many times. Two of the toughest men on the Pro Bowlers Tour. Mark Roth, Earl Anthony, classic matchup.
So we're even, and Mark Roth, if he can win his second championship here, he would be the new money leader. We talked to Mark.
I bowled well in St. Louis because of lack of finish, and I also grew up on lacquer at home, and it gives me an idea of how to bowl out on tour when we have lacquer conditions.
Okay. Usually little talkative Mark Roth. Well, that one just slid by, leaving the 1, 2, and the 8.
We said the left-hand lane's a little stiffer and doesn't hook quite as much. Roth playing them both the same, found out that result. Slid right by the head pin. And to tag what Mark had to say about learning to bowl on lacquer, Mark is only 29 years old, but he learned to bowl 15 years ago, back before they had urethane, so he feels right at home in the lacquer surfaces that don't break that much.
And Roth marking with a spare in the second frame, and Anthony is up. You just joined us, Earl Anthony. Apparently a muscle spasm, left lower back. Let's see if he says anything going to the line.
Come on, ball.
And the ball did what he wanted it to do. So he finished with 8. He is open with 2 here in the semifinal game. Now has taken a 10-pin lead against Mark Roth's thumb that looks nasty.
Well, he keeps it pretty well patched up. A lot of that is artificial covering over a wound he suffered at the Quaker State Open. But Earl, the master of concentration, talks himself into a rhythm. Trips the 6, watch the 3-pin go to the sideboard, get between the 6 and 10, and do the damage. Great break for Earl Anthony.
Now Roth, spare working, third frame. All but the 10.
Chris, last week at the U.S. Open down in Houston, Mark had a lot of trouble, as everyone knows. He leaves the 10-pin, a weak 10 on this shot. Watch the 6-pin, a right-hand part of your screen, and just lay down the channel. To finish up what he bowled last week, Mark just said he didn't have his concentration, he was going a little too fast on the approach. This week he's just taking a little more time. You can go too slow, but you also can go too fast.
And Mark Roth, who last last week lost to Marshall Holman. In '79, when he won his second Rolaids Open, he beat Holman 275 to 227. 12-year career, and Nelson, you'd have to say that is consistency.
The only two players to win over $700,000 on a PBA Tour. It's going to be interesting to see which one of them gets to $1 million first, Mark Roth or Earl Anthony.
Leaving the 1, 2, 4, 10 on the left lane, Mark Roth.
Mark a bit confused. The ball slides by. As we said earlier, the left-hand lane, the pine area, downtown lane does not break very sharply. As you can see, Roth's ball did not break up to the pocket as expected.
That's the way to shoot it for the pros. Odds 2 to 1. Here it is. So it's an open frame for Mark Roth in the fourth in this semifinal game. Anthony leads by 36 pins. We'll be back after this.
Today, bowling's more fun than ever, especially with AMF Magic Score. You knock 'em down, Magic Score adds 'em up. So this weekend, why not bring a friend bowling? You'll enjoy it even more with AMF Magic Score.
Oh, it's an exciting wide world today, live from Panama City, Panama. Pedrosa Ford Championship fight, and then ladies skiing in Zwiesel, West Germany, Women's World Cup. Wide world today. Anthony, 3 in a row.
Earl Anthony has 11 strikes in a row.
And it's a 6-pin in his victory over Paul Moser, 254 with 191. He opened with 2 strikes, then finished with 8.
The shot Earl Anthony carried in the third frame was the trip 6. The fourth frame, he doesn't get that break. See, the 3-pin went to the sideboard, just took out the 10, and did not get the 6. Anthony, a 35-pin lead with a conversion here.
So Earl Anthony with a spare in the fourth frame, leading by 35.
And as he let go of that ball, you could hear that microphone he has on. He said, ow. So apparently his back is still hurting him. Earl's wife, Susie, watching the action. I guess wondering about his back, but also counting the money at this point.
Earl is up for nomination into the PBA Hall of Fame this year. I would think he might make it.
That's known as a shoe-in.
So he opened with 3, 99 through the fourth with a strike up in the fifth.
42 games, 42 positions they paid this week. Dick Weber got the last spot with $1,030. Mark Roth trails by 35 pins.
It just didn't come up.
Roth just cannot get that ball to finish on these lanes. Frank Ellenberg was 6, just missed. Jay Robinson steady again. Paul Caldwell says he's going to win one this winter. He's looking sharp. Alvin Lou, the defending champion, who had an early lead. Mal Acosta right up there. Jimmy Certain will be at his hometown for the AMF Classic next week. Charlie Tapp steady. Cliff McNeely bowling excellent this winter.
And missing on the 1-2-8, leaving the 8, and now Anthony's lead is 46 pins.
Mark Roth just not carrying the double wood, leaves the 8-pin. The 2-pin goes right by it. And I'll tell you, Chris, I've never seen Mark so lackadaisical.
No.
You know, we're bowling for a lot of money out here, and he's just not taking his time. He's making foolish mistakes. Mark Roth, probably the best natural bowler I've ever seen, is not working hard out there.
After 2 opens, a strike. You recall last week he had 3 open frames in a row, 4 total, and that is not the Mark Roth. Seems like he's hurrying everything.